欢迎运动员、裁判员入场。
And out of the fireworks comes Juhyun and Jaelyn Liu.
Jaelyn Liu.
And our referees for this gold medal match, Florence Ducamp of France, our referee. Nunta Pantasuvanesan is our video referee. And Liu Peren of Hong Kong. And Angelina Simboyets of Ukraine, our floor judges, our assessors. We're ready to go.
Allez. Attaque.
Nice there from Liu.
Regarde. Prête. Allez. Attaque. Contre-attaque. Regarde. Prête. Allez.
For some reason, I got this feeling in the first semifinal that Joe was very tall. She's the same height as Jaelyn Liu.
Just has a different body type. Seems a little longer and lankier.
Attaque Paris. Voilà. Regarde.
Asking the referee to test if the weapon works. She could have done that herself. The remise of the riposte from infighting. Usually Liu is very strong at that. Watch the riposte is no. And then the remise.
Allez. Attaque Paris. Voilà.
So we see an interesting game plan here from Liu. We've seen every bout that she's fenced, both in the juniors and today, where at some point she'd be back on her side of the piece. It almost seems like they have a game plan to avoid that.
Right. Because, once she got on the morning track, she padded right on out.
But it does seem like she wants to be in the middle or on the move, and she has scored an attack already.
Regarde. Prête. Allez.
Referee calls halt.
Carton jaune. Faut accord pour éviter la touche. En garde.
I believe that is a core or body contact to avoid being hit
Being
on
hit.
a riposte.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. Back in the day, not some 15, 20 years ago, whatever, core body contact would be a yellow card. They took away the penalty. They just called the halt. But it does remain that if you intentionally go into your opponent to avoid being hit, you get a yellow card. And good for the referee there. A lot of referees don't call that.
Well, we will end the second. We will end the first period in our second gold medal match with Jaelyn Liu holding a 2-1 advantage over Juhyun.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah,
But
Juhyun. And Jaelyn Liu is already the junior world champion, and she's going after a second world champion medal at this.
David,
Yeah.
so David, as for that first period, usually I like to look at the first period and come up with some words of wisdom and try to unpack what happened and what's going to happen. Not a lot happened in that period.
Exactly.
The one thing that I was able to ascertain, on 2 or 3 occasions, Joe pushed Lou back to her end of the piece. Usually Lou would keep going right back to the meter and say, okay, come and get me. On all 3 occasions, once she got pushed, she started running forward to say, I'm getting out of there. So clearly there's a game plan not to go back to her end of the piece, at least what we saw in the first 3 minutes.
Halte. La remise. Touche. Point. En garde. Derrière la ligne, s'il vous plaît. Prête. Allez.
Fencers have to get on guard behind the on guard line, not on it, not ahead of it. You see that again? She retreated back a little bit, got pushed there, and said, nope, I'm not going any further. That's enough. That's interesting.
Halte. Attaque. Non. Attaque. Touche. Point.
Look at the disappointment on Liu. She made an attack in the middle of the piece, saw an opening, and I think went into the flank, and that was a closed target as the elbow was dropped by Joe and blocked it.
Halte. Pareil. Riposte. Voilà.
A little over anxious there was Liu with that attack from slightly out of distance, which allowed Joe to see it coming, make the parry, and miss on the riposte off target.
Prête.
So we've now seen Liu attack twice. Once she missed, and this one she got parried. So the attack is not so successful right now.
What did she get that card for?
Halte. Attaque. Voilà.
I missed it. Sorry.
Prête.
Well, so did I.
Allez.
I didn't see whatever it was. I don't know.
They snuck it in on us. But Liu gets out of her office.
Halte. Attaque. Voilà. En garde. Prête. Allez. Halte. Attaque. Touche. Point.
This time Liu was successful in the attack, and the reason she was is because she had pushed Joe back into her 2-meter zone and couldn't retreat quite as much anymore. So that was successful because the previous 2 attacks were not. Does she stay there? Nope, she gets out. The minute she gets pushed, she changes directions. We didn't see that yesterday or most of today.
Halte, attaque, contre-attaque, touche.
Now, touches are coming at a premium here so far in the first 2 periods. Defenses are very cautious and setting everything up, not taking a lot of risks at all. And now that Liu has opened up that 3-touch lead, does she go back to what used to be her strength, which was being all the way back on her side on defense?
We shall see. We go to a 1-minute break. And what do you, if you were to change anything, or either one of these fencers, what would it be?
Well, I would say right now, Joe has to take some risks. She's going to have to attack. So there's been a bunch of times where she's come off the line very quick and gone after Liu and pushed her into the zone, the 2-meter zone a little bit, but allowed Liu to push her back out very quickly. If you're going to change something here, is the next time you push, you have to follow it up with a secondary push, attack in stages, as they say. So it's been one-dimensional, push and pull. She's got to push and do a second push.
En garde, s'il vous plaît.
Wasn't that her weapon arm that we got the injury timeout for in the quarterfinal?
Yeah. Okay, so now we know we're in the final period. 3-point lead for Liu. She knows that Joe now has to attack, and maybe not. It's too early to take crazy risks, but she knows that Joe's going to attack. So Joe's going to be a little vulnerable early in the attack. For attack and preparation.
Halte, attaque. Voilà. En garde. Prête. Allez. Halte, attaque au fer de gauche. Touche.
Well, that's a big one. Attack au fer means a beat attack from Liu.
Prête. Allez. Halte, attaque.
And I was going to say that the one thing that Liu shouldn't do is do a counterattack in the middle and give one away.
Allez.
I didn't think she would, but she did.
Halte, attaque. Voilà. En garde. Prête.
Liu right now is in the driver's seat because Joe really hasn't done anything to put Liu at risk. There's no explosive attacks. Well, here it comes now.
You were talking about not letting her out when she gets back in there.
And that time she didn't get back out, and that's what Joe had to do, was to push her there and do a secondary attack. And it worked.
Prête. Allez. Halte, attaque. Voilà. En garde. Prête. Prête. Allez. Halte, attaque. Attaque.
Uh-oh.
Just like that. And it all started on an ill-advised counterattack in the middle of the piece. That's how it started. 6-2 lead. The one thing you really didn't want to do is let Joe get an easy one, and that was an easy one. And the second one that Joe got was a nice attack, and this one here was a counterattack. Maybe she got lucky, maybe she didn't. But whatever she got, 6-2 is now 6-5.
But, allez.
Go under a minute here.
Halte. Regarde. Faites. Allez. Halte.
Oh, my. That was a complete split. Unbelievable.
Regarde.
Oh my.
Faites.
Well, she's lucky she didn't get hit in the process.
I think I tore my hamstring just watching that.
Halte. Attaque. Voilà. Regarde. Faites. Allez.
Getting down to crunch time here.
Halte. Attaque. Attaque.
Attack,
That couldn't.
no.
That could not have come at a better time.
Faites.
For Liu, it couldn't have come at a worse time for Joe. She set up a nice action to tie the score with less than 30 seconds to go with the World Championship on the line, and somehow she missed and got hit on a counterattack.
Halte. Attaque. Attaque.
And again,
Well, there she galloped forward, and she was at risk there with that
Derrière la ligne, s'il vous
big
plaît.
buffalo step.
Allez. Halte. Attaque. Touche. Point.
Still alive. That's attack from Liu, so probably not anymore.
Rouge à gauche.
Touche à gauche.
Bis Joe.
Wait,
Bis Joe.
red card.
En garde. Faites. Allez.
wow.
That's a 2-point play, and that should pretty much do it.
Halte. Attaque. Voilà.
Don't know what the red card was for.
Faites. Distance, s'il vous plaît.
But in 5 seconds, Liu's going to be defending the championship.
Halte. Attaque. Touche. Point. En garde. Faites. Allez. Halte.
That's it. There we have it. Our 2025 Cadet Women's Foil World Champion is Jaelyn Liu. To follow up last night's Junior World Champion, Jaelyn Liu.
Women's individual
Double
foil
champion,
has finished.
defending
女士们、先
champion.
生们，
And
少
just
年
think about
女
it.
子花界
Less
个
than a
人
minute
决
ago,
赛
the score was 6-5,
Victory
and Joe made a
belongs to the
straight
United
attack
States of
and
America.
missed. If she hit
Well,
6-6,
Jaelyn
we might
Liu.
have a different champion. And
Absolutely.
that just opened up the floodgates. Well, quite fortuitous for Liu.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, we've seen a lot of her over the past 48 hours. And especially in the quarterfinal match, she's tough as an old boot.
He is.
And you know, we've never seen here